Um, I can't believe it. I'm getting ready for work right now, but today's the day. Today's the day that Batman vs. Superman. This is this Monday night screening. I'll be vlogging about this the rest of the day. It's about time. Finally. I'm going to get some rest. Because tonight, BBS. We are approximately 3 minutes away from the movie theater. Right now we're at a stoplight waiting to go.
It's going to go down.
This is seriously about to go down. Talk to y'all soon. We are officially going in to Batman vs. Superman. And I'm trying not to geek out.
You can geek out. It's allowed. It's allowed.
I can geek out! Yes!
It was amazing. Like, it literally marks the superhero genre forever. Like, I've never seen implications like this, and it was more than I could have ever imagined.
Ooh, my gosh. What's going on out there, YouTube?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
This is SEL0320.
This is Joe Johnson 030.
So we make up JVS, but we are back for probably one of the biggest movies this year by far, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. We were able to get an IMAX early screening of it tonight, Monday, and we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we looked at, Man of Steel. I was one of those ones that really liked Man of Steel. I actually really love what Henry Cavill did, as well as bringing all the different other characters that are involved in it. I love the world that they built. And this world is a platform for Dawn of Justice. And it's like, I guess the big question is, Joe, did it succeed? Did it meet our expectations? I have to truly say it did, absolutely, for me. I went in with very low expectations. I was just looking for a good movie. I didn't know if it would be a great movie, and it met that demand for me. What was your impression going into the movie and then your resolve?
Going into the movie, I was like, I was already hyped about the movie.
Absolutely.
Like, I was just like, no, this movie's gonna be great, which it was. Overall, it was a very good movie. I think it did succeed in everything that they set out to do. And we'll give you a couple of reasons as why without spoiling anything for you guys.
Absolutely. And that's a good segue, because this is a non-spoiler. You won't get anything as far as spoilers from us, because this movie is more potent watching it. Like, every trailer that you think you know what's going on in it, chances are you have no clue what's really happening. And that's what I loved about this film. But we're going to go ahead and break it down as far as the visual effects and even like sound design, how was the mixing, how was the writing, how was the acting. We'll go into all of that right now. So as far as the visual effects, as far as the VFX itself and the sound, is masterful. The cinematography in this, a lot of the captures and the way that they pick up on those subtle moments, like especially in the beginning, there's a subtle moment that's going on with Bruce at a very young age, and it was shot so beautifully, but it meant something. It wasn't just that, they captured or focused on this one moment for no good reason. It's like, it was smart cinematography. They were really cunning in the ways that they even did their action set pieces. Like, if you see Batman fighting, or if you see Superman fighting, or if you see Wonder Woman on screen, there's always an epic moment for them. An iconic moment in a lot of different ways that pull right out of the comics that I really appreciated. What did you think about the visual effects or even the sound?
Visually, I mean, the movie was just very attractive.
Yeah.
Kind of one thing I've noticed with the Man of Steel, that they topped, was one thing that I really liked about the Man of Steel was the cinematography, and they have a lot of artsy shots, and with this, I mean, with the Batman vs Superman, you definitely get those. And one thing that Sam was mentioned is their ability to go into detail with imagery that will be brought back later on in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's very well done. Looks very good.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like the fight sequences in this, they do not hold back at all. Like what you think is going to be the ending is nowhere near what really kind of goes down. And even the way that they capture it, they had to spend a lot of time in the editing room, in the VFX room, even with the actual actors preparing physically to be able to do this. There's a lot of work that was put in, and I really appreciate it. Just as much as even the soundtrack, it was so different than Man of Steel, but it kept constant. And at first I was thinking it might have been too much, you know, because it was kind of getting in those kind of moments of rifting between pacing. But as the long stretch, oh my gosh, when you get to the final 30 minutes of the movie, you're gonna be all jacked up because it positions it well, and then it's crafted well, even with the sound editing. And I thought they did a great job with both of those. But let's talk about, I guess, the acting. But before I even bring up, I normally don't do this, but I have to say, the writers, Chris Terrio, David Goyer, and the director, Zack Snyder, did something amazing with this movie because it took from a lot of key stories in comic lore for the DC Universe, and not only did they make them work, it was the perfect fusion of something masterful in a lot of different ways because of the way that they tackled it. Chris Terrio, he helped out with Argo for Ben Affleck, and then David Goyer, he's always been like a lover of comics and film, but Zack Snyder has this way of bringing something that is straight on the page and bringing it to life. Case in point, 300, Man of Steel, but this is a whole different level. In my opinion, I love Man of Steel, but this movie is twice what Man of Steel did. But what did you think about, I guess, the acting in this one?
Acting was really good. My personal favorite performance was Lex Luthor's character,
Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and that's, for me to say that, is definitely it's ironic, and it says a lot because I didn't think he was gonna do a good job.
Because you thought he was gonna be the weaker part of everything.
I really did.
Yeah.
But he turned out to be my favorite character.
Yeah.
Or my favorite character to watch.
Yeah.
Just by what he says and how he carries himself.
Yeah, I agree. And then you also said that you really loved the way they handled Wonder Woman. Like, she shines in this movie, y'all.
Yeah,
like, Gal Gadot, I didn't know she could pull out the accent. I didn't know she could pull out the physicality. I mean, she had more to lose than anybody, but she will become the crowd favorite, I think, in a lot of different people's eyes. But that's his babe.
She won me over.
He's crushing over her. But, I mean, real talk, though, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are their characters. Ben Affleck, I have to talk about him because not only does he pull off being Bruce Wayne well, you know what I'm saying, but he pulls off being Batman just as much. There's never a point, I was telling Joe, that you feel like they're the same person. They feel like totally different entities. And not just that, his character is so dark. This movie is grounded in darkness. Like, there's so much that happens that you don't expect, and at the same exact time, it's some dark undertones that are really put in your face, and they tackle it really well through their acting performances. Even Henry Cavill, like, is an uncharacteristic version of Superman, even though he has the same morals and ethics. And like, it's a way of grounding these two actors in such a way that it makes their characters so much deeper. But what did you think about, I guess, anybody else's performance?
One thing that really struck me was pretty much like while I was watching Batman on screen, it was like one thing that they did a good job of capturing was kind of like his dialogues with Alfred, because you know, because a lot of times in the anime series, Alfred would, you know, try to like, hey Batman, you should do this, but Batman would like really assert his dominance and be like, and you can see hear the urgency in his voice, like, no, I have to do this this way, and he just leaves it at that and goes about his plan, and you know, that's definitely depicted in this movie as well.
Yeah, they pull from everything. I mean, they pull from all the great things about the comics, the animated series, and even some of the most iconic moments in DC Universe, like, is brought to life in this movie. So last thing but not least, story. I thought the story was done really well. I thought they did a great job with the pacing. The flashback sequences were beautifully done. There were moments in the film that I did not expect at all. Like, it literally, there was one moment that was midway or in between the fighting between Batman versus Superman, like literally, and I was almost brought to tears. Like, it really messed me up. I can't describe it for you. If you want to know, we'll have it in the spoiler review that you can check out a little bit later on. But for a movie to be able to do that to me, I was just looking for a good movie. I was looking for a good fight. I didn't expect to feel something. I didn't expect that they'd have enough time to be able to show me a character and see their dissension or ascension and have that moment just be, you know, moved out of that. You know, I didn't expect that. And that's one of the gravitas about this story and the way that they did it. And they did a great job. They did a great job all around. This is one of my favorite movies this year. My final note, I actually give it a 10. I didn't think I would. I'd probably give it like a 9 before. I thought I was going to get a 9.5. But the more I'm sitting to think about all the stuff that they flushed out, all the things that I haven't even revealed to y'all, I can't wait to talk about in the spoiler review, they nailed every single moment. I mean, there's some nitpicky things that I could talk about, like in the beginning, certain pacing proposition, or even like certain things that they should have never done as far as like trailers. But that's nitpicking, because this movie is succeeded on every single thing that I thought that they could potentially fail on. So that's my final thoughts. What's your final thoughts in review or number?
I mean, I would also give this movie a 10. Because I mean, judging it by just like a work as a movie, it's a good movie. It's not just a good hero movie. It's not just a good action movie, but it's a well acted movie.
Absolutely.
It's great cinematography, great CG, great action, good drama. It's all that in one movie. So just as a work, it's a great movie. Also, like, one of my main concerns was going to the movie was like, because I know in the trailer they had introduced Doomsday. So I was like, would the Batman versus Superman fight, would it be a real fight? And I'm just going to say I was satisfied with how they told this story. Without saying anything else. I left the theaters, I was like, good job. You know?
I mean, these men, these women, they became these characters, they sold it, and they gave us something that a lot of people are going to be shaken up by. Because it's very dark, but it's in your face, and a lot of people I've heard say that they compare this to even the Dark Knight, in between the Dark Knight and the Avengers. And it is kind of a perfect fusion of that. And you'll find out when you actually go check it out. So definitely go check out Batman vs. Superman. Come this Thursday. If you get an early screening, definitely go and see it as soon as you can, because we're going to be watching this quite a bit. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't going to stop. Talk to y'all soon in the spoiler review. Peace.